here from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, on the shore of the very frozen St. Mary's River here, right across from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. So you can see it's still quite snowy. No surprise there. In fact, there's probably a good 2+ feet of snow on that walkway, and no one's walked it in a while, so it was a lot of post holing walking through there. But Argo and I, right there, came out here because I think you can probably see the Coast Guard cutter Mackinaw is in town. There's a lot of ice down there. Get a little zoom in there, and there they are. And you can see the Katmai Bay right there to the left. They had well, I think all of them had a stint there, breaking ice on the straits there, Mackinaw Straits. And the Mackinaw came up here. I don't know if they came up here specifically to help out the Sugar Islander ferry or if it was a bonus, but they did do that. I've not been down there yet because I just got off work to see what the ice looks like down there, but I did see online that the ice conditions, well, they barely had a track to get back and forth, and they were issuing warnings that if you take the ferry across, well, you might not get back. So be prepared, bring what you need. So I'm hoping the Mackinaw, I saw they took a lot of passes up there, hoping they're able to break things up and get that ice shifted down a bit. They were doing okay down the Sugar Islander ferry. So we had a bit of a warm up and some wind, and a lot of this ice broke up and flowed down there and started jamming them up. The Mackinaw, I believe, is the only heavy icebreaker permanently assigned to these Great Lakes. The Canadian Coast Guard will send some up here when/as needed, but I don't believe they're permanently assigned to the Great Lakes. So, and when you see the Katmai Bay alone, you're like, well, that's a pretty good size, icebreaker. That's pretty big. And then you see the Mackinaw next to him, you're like, wow, okay, that's a really big icebreaker. I'm sure they'll have their strengths. I heard on the radio that the Bay class here, like the Katmai Bay, they can do they can get a little bit better wake going and can be quote wake it out better than the Mackinaw can. But the Mackinaw can just handle much thicker ice, of course. So, and the Bay class, like the Katmai Bay, have those bubblers where the air is released under the bottom of the ship and it bubbles up along the hull and helps lubricate them so they can move through the ice a bit better. And I've theorized myself that if that air doesn't help the ice slide under the surrounding ice, because ice floats on water, but ice doesn't float on air. So I just wonder, my own speculation, if those boulders coming up can cause ice chunks to go under the water and be pushed under out of the way. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but just something I think about. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's raining. It's like 34 degrees and raining. It's lightly raining. We had a good bit of snow today and didn't really seem to accumulate too much, even though sometimes it was snowing pretty heavily. So, and we kind of have this, today was a wintry mix, which is what we've had today, snow and then rain. And then starting Sunday, we cool right back down again into a little more January temperatures, lows in the single digits, maybe even a little negative, before we kind of come back to more February, end of February type of temperatures. So as I've said before, I heard this in my first winter here, February is when winter starts to feel really long. That is for sure. Here we have, of course, the Museum Ship Valley Camp. It's always neat to see their propeller sticking out of the ice there. I don't know why, I just find that interesting. You see it like that all summer out of the water, but for some reason sticking out of the ice looks cooler. See what I did there? I wanted to walk down here because I wanted to see the Mackinaw. Actually, still need to take a few pictures. You kind of get a view here of the river. So I've not been down here, as the kids would say, for a minute. And had my microphone with me, so I figured I would record a video to share with all of you as well. So thank you so much for joining the best boy, myself, and U.S. Coast Guard cutters Katmai Bay and the heavy icebreaker Mackinaw here on the shore of the St. Mary's River.